You're watching Retirement Talk with Eric Kearney, Southwest Florida's #1 show for smart retirement planning. He's a best-selling author, radio personality, and a fiduciary advisor you can trust. Get ready for expert insights, straight talk, and strategies to secure your future. Now, here's Southwest Florida's premier investment advisor, Eric Kearney.
Welcome to Retirement Talk with Eric Kearney. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, joined today by Eric Kearney and Joseph Lanza of Retirement Wealth Advisors. To our viewers at home, the tax time bomb. So often people underestimate hidden taxes, RMDs. Taxes can derail your retirement. Today's show is all about that, how you can plan to avoid the tax time bomb. Thank you for being with us. Eric, how are you today?
Oh, great, Cynthia. Good morning to you.
Good morning to you as well. Joseph, how are you?
So happy to be here, Cynthia. Thanks for having us again.
I'm so happy to be with both of you. I always look forward to our time together in the studio, and today I'm so excited. I know it sounds crazy to talk about being excited about taxes, right? They're like, what's wrong with this woman? But it's such an interesting topic because so often people think their taxes are going to go down once they retire, but this can be a silent killer to retirees overall if you're not planning for it.
Absolutely. So I think the biggest thing about taxes is that, you know, if we have accumulated and we have saved and we have sacrificed and we put away money in that 401k, that 403b, the SEP, Simple, any IRA that you have other than the Roth IRA, we have accumulated quite a bit of money. And, you know, Cynthia, the majority of Americans that have gotten to that double comma club for retirement, it's come through tax-deferred accounts. So a lot of times we have accumulated a great amount of money in tax-deferred accounts. We never avoided the taxes. We simply deferred them. And now upon withdrawal, what do you mean I have to pay taxes on this? And so people are kind of surprised. And I'm shocked, okay, and this is my frustration that I have. Look, I've been in the financial industry now for 25 years. I've had a lot of frustration over the past decade and a half because there's so much improper planning out there. Tax planning is one of those that is underplanned for, and people aren't even prepared for this. And when you get in retirement, you really need to already have started to do tax planning 10 years prior and 10 years after. Unfortunately, people wait till retirement, and now all of a sudden your time frame window is 13 to 15 years. And I will say this, I think Joseph will agree, it's pretty stressful when people find out they're in such a highly taxable situation due to a lack of planning.
I've had individuals, and this is a true story before, that did not realize that any distribution from their IRAs or 401ks were going to be taxable to them.
Oh, wow.
I mean, that is a huge slap in the face when you consider all the income, if they were doing income planning themselves or thinking about how much they're truly going to have. I mean, what you can slap 25% of that right off to Uncle Sam right away. It's like, oh, this is how much I truly have in that account now. And I don't know if it's just a lack of financial literacy or, you know, employers, 401ks and the plans that were setting that up. Nobody really did much education because that's how it seems to. Even the lack of the use of the Roth 401k.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's nobody even realizes that they have a Roth 401k. Now, I'm not saying every plan does, but you're seeing that come to fruition a lot more for a lot of plans. But nobody's using it because there's nobody that's saying, hey, check to see if you have a Roth 401k. Maybe that's a better solution. You pay the taxes on it once, and then it starts growing tax-deferred for you or tax-free for you for the future. You don't ever have to worry about those taxes again. Nobody's really saying that to them. So it can come as a huge shock to people.
You know, that's so true because when people are working in their job, they actually go to their HR person for a lot of their financial guidance.
Right.
They don't have the same savvy as you both do. That can be very scary. Eric, I see your face right now. You're like...
I mean, I cringe. I absolutely cringe because, well, first of all, we talk about how the 401k, which is typically where the majority of your income comes from for retirement, is really mismanaged. We're throwing it into target date funds. We're throwing it into money markets. All this money is growing tax-free or tax-deferred, but not very quickly. And the horrible part is there's so many people that don't know that a Roth 401k exists.
Exactly.
We're the ones that are bringing it up to them.
Yes.
And really, if you want to do something for your children and they are just starting the working world, bring up the 401k. Say, hey, I'm going to call Eric. I'm going to call Joseph. I want to take 5 minutes and help you get started. It's the biggest thing that you can help people to do. Swimming, cooking, opening up a Roth IRA. Those are things that we really need to be learning about. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, kid in the pool, come on, I'm going to open up a Roth IRA for you. You know, but it really is. We don't learn enough about money, and there's so many things that people are like, I don't know how money works. This is why we do financial planning. This is why we do tax planning. This is why we do income planning. I sound like Bubba Gump, but you get it, right? There's a lot of things that go into this. And the problem is that taxes do become almost like they're overwhelming to people, and they get very stressful.
Yes.
And so they're like, I can't take this anymore. But again, if you take a look at their past, they only did planning with their CPA once a year. You know, they never really looked forward.
Yeah, and I even like when individuals will say to me, sometimes it's business owners, small business owners who will say, no, don't worry, I have a good CPA. And we're not trying to put somebody in touch with a new CPA or get involved with that situation, but they're saying, oh, I have a good CPA because I always pay the least amount of taxes as possible that year. How is that CPA achieving that? Well, sometimes it's through maxing out tax-deferred accounts, which means like that snowball effect of that tax time bomb that's just growing and growing and growing. It's like you're just not off the hook for free forever, right? If anything, that's just going to make it worse for you later on in retirement. But people are amazed with, oh, I can pay less taxes in this year. That's great. Nobody's really looking out for them 10, 15, 20 years into the future.
Yeah.
That is so true. And Joseph, I want to ask you, obviously the new tax changes, if you will, and RMD rules, they've changed the planning landscape. Yeah. Can you talk to us a little bit about how that happened?
Yeah, the Secure Act changed the entire way that we're taxed on IRAs or 401ks while we're alive and after we pass away as well. So before the Secure Act, when a non-spouse beneficiary inherited that IRA, they were able to do what's called a stretch IRA, which meant they could take those required minimum distributions every single year for the rest of their life. So essentially that IRA stayed tax deferred for decades for them, right? Hence the name stretch IRA. Today, now when that same non-spouse beneficiary inherits that account, they have 10 years to withdraw that entire account. All those withdrawals are taxable income. And a big issue that we're running into is a lot of these individuals are in their 40s or 50s, right? So they already have earned income coming in from work. Now they're getting this forced additional income added on top of that, pushing them into an even higher tax bracket.
Wow.
Okay, so this is why smart tax planning when it comes to retirement planning should not be an option. It should be a necessity in everybody's plan. And it's why we talk about things like Roth conversion strategies or tax diversification, because we want more of our clients' hard-earned money to go to their family members, not to the IRS.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
One thing I want to say is that this last Christmas, I was invited to a party, and I really started to bring up stretch IRAs, and I did not get invited to the New Year's Eve party. I don't know why. It was so much fun there.
I can see that you would be a lot of fun. Yeah. It's a great topic.
Somebody's trying to find an excuse just to walk away like, oh, I think I know them.
I love it. I love it. Well, Eric, you have a very special message to the viewers at home from you, Joseph. Talk about what that is, please.
Thank you, Cynthia. So everybody out there, I know, I get it. Look, taxes are overwhelming. They are an issue, and really a lot of people are worried about them. And unfortunately, they are a lot like a brokerage account. They compound and they grow over time if you don't do anything about them. We have a solution for you today. Go to rwataxtest.com and you can actually go through your own tax situation very quickly and see if we can improve your situation. We have a lot more on taxes to come back, so stay tuned.
Eric, thank you so much. Joseph, thank you so much. To the viewers at home, once again, it's rwataxtest.com. rwataxtest.com. Grab your smartphone, click on that QR code. That's the fast track to get to the website. Once again, the number is 800-779-1942. We'll be right back after this very short commercial break.
Hey everyone, welcome in. I'm Joseph Lanza with Retirement Wealth Advisors, and today I'm joined by our certified financial planner, Donna Krohn. Donna, thank you for joining me today.
Great to be here again, Joseph.
Great to always have you, Donna. Today, I want to discuss something that is a little bit of a touchy topic sometimes, couples in retirement, finances in couples. Donna, you've helped so many couples prepare for retirement, get through retirement that are currently in retirement. What are some tips or possible roadblocks for couples to avoid to maybe get on the same page about their finances?
It is very common, Joseph, for couples not to be on the same page when it comes to their finances. And one of the most common situations we see this with is that one spouse, very detail-oriented, knows where all the bodies lie, if you will, right? Mm-hmm. And the other spouse is not so interested. Yep. And what happens is that gap continues to widen over time until something happens and the spouse who is less informed all of a sudden is like, oh my God, gets very overwhelmed, or the spouse that is very detail oriented starts to panic because all the pieces aren't fitting together. So one of my tips would be first, just to acknowledge that it's okay and it's perfectly normal for two spouses to have a different level of interest in their financial situation.
Absolutely.
The next tip I would have would be to find the common ground, right? Regardless of how you get there, whether you like lots of spreadsheets and lots of numbers, or you just want a nice picture, right? Something visual that describes what's going on. If you focus on your common ground or what your common goals are, maintaining your lifestyle, travel, maybe buying a second home, something along those lines. If you keep your focus on that, then the rest of the conversations are, they all come from that space. And the last tip I would say around working with couples would be that you want to respect each other's style. We all process information differently. So the spouse that's super detailed, who likes the spreadsheets, those are my kind of people, by the way, but who do that brings them joy. That really brings them joy. It makes them feel good to do that. And the spouse that's less interested, it's not that they're not interested in their lifestyle. It's just that the details can be overwhelming. So when we respect each other's styles, how we intake and process information, I think that goes a long way towards closing that gap again.
I think this is something that Donna does so well with financial planning is she takes these hard to understand concepts or these very complex situations and makes them very easy to understand through financial planning. Donna, thank you for joining me today. Back to you guys in the studio.
Welcome back to Retirement Talk with Eric Kearney. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, joined today by Eric Kearney and Joseph Lanza of Retirement Wealth Advisors. Eric, I love Donna. Well, and Joseph, you too, in that spot. But I mean, I love seeing Donna in that spot because she's so fluent with her knowledge. Talk a little bit about Donna, please, to the viewers at home.
Yeah, so Donna heads up our financial planning department. She is a certified financial planner. And really what she's doing is she is keeping you on track with all of your goals, objectives, your required minimum distributions, making sure that your income is there, making sure that we're outpacing inflation, both normal inflation and medical inflation. So having that financial plan really does guide you through a difficult time in retirement.
Yes.
And again, we're not looking at a multi-year period. We are looking at decades long. And so a lot of people are looking at, the here and now. You really have to think about 25 to 30 years out. And so there's a lot of people who, again, we always laugh about spreadsheets. I don't even know how to write a spreadsheet, right? But Donna is like, she's the spreadsheet queen.
I love that.
And so the thing is that you're taking different personalities and pouring them into the overall financial plan for that client. And they're really getting the best of everything. I'm so proud of my team, everybody on there. We've been working together a very long time together. I appreciate all the effort. And it's just, there's so much passion that goes into this for the benefit of the client. So if you've never had a full-blown financial plan, give us a call today.
And that's why everyone loves your office so much. It is like a family. The team just blends together so cohesively. Everyone feels like you're only working with that specific person, which it's so amazing because I know how busy you are, and yet everyone receives that same personal attention from you.
Yeah,
so,
it's something that we've kept important for all these years now, too, that everybody does get that same level of attention.
Yes.
Everybody does get all the same services. And, we just work so well together as our dysfunctional family in the office, and we make jokes about it. But, I mean, we have so much passion, like Eric said. There's not a day that goes by that I don't wake up and I'm like, I don't want to go to work today. I get out of bed excited to go to work. I love what I do, and it's just been a blessing.
Yeah.
Most definitely. And it shows. It definitely shows.
Good.
Eric, so many people assume that they're going to be in a lower tax bracket when they retire.
Yeah.
Why do they have that assumption?
I mean, the assumptions that we have about our retirement are just kind of crazy, right? And people think, I'm not going to spend as much. My tax situation is going to be as bad. And the fact of the matter is, we have no idea. And the first year of retirement is really eye-opening for a lot of people. They realize that they have a lot more time. Their time is structured differently. They're spending more than they expected. When it comes to your taxes, we have to remember how many deductions we actually lose. So we were contributing to our 401k, IRAs. We were contributing to HSAs. We had dependents. We were doing all different kinds of things, maybe even business expenses. Now we don't have those anymore. We're retired. We got rid of the business. And so now we don't have those deductions that we used to. And now all of a sudden we go to our accountant and your accountant's like, yeah, but you took out, 60 grand from your IRA. Now that's taxes ordinary income. That's the wake up call, and that's where they say, hey, Eric, now we need to do that tax planning. Look, we're offering it to everyone. There's some people that are convinced that they don't need tax planning. everyone needs tax planning.
Most definitely.
I think there's a lot of individuals that were sold this idea to use a 401k to have like, well, your income later on in retirement, you're going to be at a lower tax bracket later on. But now America's in this weird pocket right now where historically speaking, our taxes are extremely low.
Yes.
National debt is very high, just continues to keep going up. So where are taxes going in the future? Most likely our brackets are going to change and get worse for us. We're going to be paying more taxes. So that original idea of, oh, take the deduction during your working years because you're never going to make as much as you do during your working years. Now a lot of individuals could potentially be in a higher tax bracket in the future in retirement, depending on how the government decides to raise those.
Wow, now that's scary. So Eric, I should ask you, what about a Roth conversion? Could that like help diffuse the time bomb, the tax time bomb?
Yeah, so I've had this thing and it's literally been rolling around the studio for the past half hour. I've tripped on it and everything, but it is literally a tax bomb, right? And this is one thing that we hand to a lot of people. Like, if you don't do tax planning, we're going to hand you one of these. So what happens is a lot of times people think Roth conversion is a get out of jail free card. It is not. Like, anytime that you do a conversion, it is still taxed at ordinary income. So people come in with, let's say, a $1.5 million IRA and say, all right, over the next 3 years, I'm just going to do $500,000 Roth conversions. I said, have you done any of the calculations? No. You have to understand that there's so many different things that go into a Roth conversion. And the one pet peeve I have is all these TikTok videos that are 40 seconds long that people pay attention to. And they're like, well, that guy on that video said, this is how you do a Roth conversion. There are so many moving parts. Number one, this should be a multi-year plan. You have to understand what your rate of return is. Your rate of return can actually provide you with an awful lot of luxuries when it comes to a Roth conversion. Number three, it should be done in your income plan, your financial plan, your tax plan, and you should also be considering your portfolio. There's so many moving parts to a Roth conversion. They could also wreak havoc with your Social Security. They could also wreak havoc with your Medicare. Believe me, a Roth conversion is not as easy as people think.
Okay.
The other thing that's frustrating that I'm going to say really quick is when people are in their last 4 or 5 years of working, I will tell them, open up a Roth IRA as long as your income limits apply, or open up a Roth 401k and start channeling money into that. You know how many people blow that off? And then I walk out of the meeting, I'm like, okay, but I told you.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
It's the last time that you're ever going to have tax-free money. Why wouldn't you take advantage of that? So again, when you go into your advisor, look, there's a lot of really good advisors out there. Hopefully your advisor is really moving you towards the tax-free section to try to combat any future taxes.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's not to overwhelm individuals either by saying
It is. We want to overwhelm people. Yeah.
No, but like when you mentioned about all the different moving parts to a Roth conversion, it's not to scare people into saying like, you know what, that's not why I want to do it.
Right.
And, but it's to show them that it's not as simple as just saying, let's do 50 grand this year and convert it.
Right.
No, you have to do a lot of different calculations and see how it's going to affect your income sources, your taxes on Social Security. Is it going to throw you into a higher tax bracket? Is it going to bump up your Medicare premium bracket? And again, that's what we're here for. So we don't want to make people feel overwhelmed by, stating all these things.
Right.
But that's what goes through our heads. It's what goes through Donna's head when she's putting that into the financial plan is, I got to check this. Does that amount look good for tax brackets? Yes, but it pushes them higher Medicare, right? It's all these different checklists that we go through.
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, Joseph, is there an ideal age or income range that you're looking for specifically with a Roth conversion?
Yeah, typically the age range that works best is going to be the retirement date leading up to their required minimum distribution age, which is either 73 to 75, depending on the year in which you were born. And that typically looks the best because in that period of time, you're going to have the lowest amount of income in your retirement. You just stopped working and you haven't been forced to take those RMDs yet. But again, you have to be very specific with the amounts that you are converting and the time frame you're doing that. You do too much, higher taxes, higher Medicare premiums. You do too little, you could also be missing out on locking in some of those lower tax rates, if you will. So this is why every Roth conversion plan that we put together is completely customized to that client's situation, their income needs, all their brackets, and those numbers change as the years go on. So it ebbs and flows with them throughout their retirement, just like your financial plan should be ebbing and flowing with you, keeping up with your lifestyle, whatever is happening at that point.
Joseph, thank you so much. Eric, special message to the viewers at home, please, before we take our next commercial break.
Yeah, so if you have any questions on your taxes, go to rwataxtest.com. take that little quiz, see if it can be an improvement to your tax situation. And believe me, you want to do this sooner rather than later. As laid back as we are on the show, this is one thing that we take absolutely seriously, and we do include it in your overall financial plan and income plan. So give us a call today. Come on in and let's get that started for you.
Eric, thank you so much. Joseph, thank you so much. To the viewers at home, the number to call is 800-779-1942, 1-800-779-1942. Click the QR code at the bottom corner of your screen. That's the fast track to get on the schedule of Retirement Wealth Advisors. We'll be right back momentarily after this very short commercial break.
Greetings, everyone. My name is Eric Kearney, president of Retirement Wealth Advisors. For the past 15 years, we've been helping pre- and post-retirees learn how to retire and live a more dynamic lifestyle. People have so many questions, not enough answers. Yet we go out there and we're buying tools, products, investments without any real proof if these are actually going to work for us. Sign up for our course, Reality in Retirement. We're simply there to educate you about the beginning of retirement all the way to the very end. We talk about tax planning, income planning, portfolio money management, and what we really want to do is help you understand how to live a more dynamic lifestyle and plan for longevity and sustainability. So if you have more questions than answers about your retirement, go to myincomeplan.com, sign up today, and we'll see you soon.
Welcome back to Retirement Talk with Eric Kearney. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, joined today by Eric Kearney and Joseph Lanza of Retirement Wealth Advisors. We're talking all about the tax time bomb and how you can help avoid that time bomb. Eric, I want to ask you about tax diversification.
Yeah.
What does that mean to retirees?
So tax diversification is really coming up with a strategy and saying, okay, what can we do to lower your taxes? And so again, this should be addressed prior to you retiring and hopefully, a decade before and then a decade after. And again, that's going to make things so much easier. But what we're really looking to do is strategically fill your tax brackets, actually convert in lower income years. If we are going to do a Roth conversion, we want to be strategic about it and understand the timeline to it as well. The other thing that we're going to do is we're going to take a look at your tax situation and say, okay, we're going to start putting it on a timeline and saying, this is where we expect you to be in another 5 years and 10 years. We're also having very strong conversations with your CPA. And I think that that's one of the missing pieces that people have is that communication and that actual relationship with somebody who's doing your taxes. The next one I want to talk about is, this one drives me mad. When somebody has a buy and hold portfolio from decades ago, the problem is that it leads to an over allocation or an over concentrated position, and it's very difficult to sell. So we have to be very aware of capital gains, both long-term and short-term. And this is, again, is where we're going through the entire portfolio, the income plan, the tax plan, the financial plan, and really putting all these pieces together. Believe me, if you don't have a financial plan, an income plan, a tax plan, a portfolio, or concierge service, these are a lot of the pieces that people are actually missing. And I'm not sure how they're getting through retirement without all of these proper tools.
Most definitely. And Eric, what are some of the biggest tax mistakes you see retirees make when they start pulling money from their accounts, just kind of willy-nilly, if you will?
Yeah, that's exactly right. You can't say it any better. Like, they're not paying attention to what kind of account it is, how it's actually taxed. And what we're looking to do is not only get you in a lower taxable situation now, but actually over the next 25 years. So we've got to be very careful where we pull it from. And again, this has to do with sequence of returns. I mean, we're paying attention to everything. And this is why all the pieces of the puzzle really have to play together.
Yes.
If you're just kind of cherry picking where you're going to pull this from, eventually it's all going to fall apart. And we've seen that a lot of times. A lot of times people come with a basket case financial plan or a basket case of an income plan, and they're like, I'm not sure why this isn't working. It's because nothing is really tied together. Nothing is really communicating with each other. With us, everything is working in conjunction. We understand exactly where you are, and we've got to maintain that going forward.
You mentioned mistakes with taxes, and there's some people that will say, I'm not worried about doing conversions because I'll just take care of my RMDs when I have my required minimum distributions. I'm just going to convert those when I get to that point. you can't convert your RMDs, or they don't. If you do a Roth conversion, it won't count as a required minimum distribution, and people don't realize that. So you have to satisfy your required minimum distribution first before you think about doing a Roth conversion in that account. So it can't just be another procrastination, as we call it, people just putting it off, like the hurricanes. When do people look at their homeowners insurance policy? Oh, 2 days before a massive hurricane is coming through Florida.
That's true.
What are you going to do? Get your agent on the line and they're going to change your policy really quick? It's like, oh, I didn't get the coverage I got. No, we want to be doing that outside of hurricane season. You want to be looking at your tax planning before it becomes a problem, so you actually have options to do something about it.
Most definitely. And Joseph, I also want to ask you, you mentioned this earlier, but people that are saving a lot of money in their 401ks, these pre-tax accounts, if you will, talk a little bit about what happens if taxes go up. What are they facing?
Yeah, it's probably one of the biggest blind spots that a lot of retirees have is thinking that, oh, my IRA or my 401k is 100% mine, when in reality, it's more like a joint account with the IRS. Any dollar you take out of that account is 100% taxable income. And so when the government decides to raise taxes, which, like I said, is very likely, there's going to be a lot of retirees who receive less income simply because more is going towards paying those taxes.
Okay.
We're talking about a situation where the government is deciding which percentage of your account you get to keep. That infuriates a lot of people, understandably, right?
Yes.
I feel the same way. But this is why we talk about that tax diversification. So just like how you'd want diversification in your investment portfolio, you're spreading your money across different positions, you want to build different options for yourself in retirement, different places you can pull money from that are taxed differently. Because in retirement, those options and having options are going to help you get over obstacles that you may have.
Yeah.
And so essentially that's what we're helping clients do, is transfer some of those pre-tax accounts into more tax-efficient vehicles and essentially locking in today's lower rates for their future.
Joseph, thank you so much. Eric, when someone comes in to meet with you, and let's just say it's a second opinion or an income plan review, do you talk about how someone's taxes play that role? I know we only have a little over a minute left in the show.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are addressing everything. And really what we're trying to do is financial triage. And some people come in and their portfolio is a wreck, and that's why they're coming in for that. Other people say, hey, Eric, we have a tax issue. This is why we're coming in. But really what we're doing is, for everyone, we're starting at the beginning, right? And people want procedures. They want a process. They want financial infrastructure. When you really take a look at a successful person, they have that financial infrastructure in place. Financial plan, tax plan, income plan, a portfolio management, and strong concierge service. Give us a call today.
Eric, thank you so much. To our viewers at home, the number to call is on your screen, 1-800-779-1942, 1-800-779-1942. Or grab your smartphone, click on the QR code at the bottom corner of your screen. That takes you right to the landing page of Retirement Wealth Advisors. You can schedule your time accordingly. When it comes to tax planning, you need to have a plan for your retirement. Take action today. Be safe, be happy, and be blessed. We'll see you back 1 week from today on Retirement Talk with Eric Kearney. See you soon.
Hey, Southwest Florida, thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions after today's show, please give us a call.
Remember, you only retire once. Let's get it right the first time. Have a great week and an even better retirement.